Mary and Joseph lost Jesus for 3 days and didn't notice he was gone until a whole day had passed. No, this isn't a joke. This is actually in the Bible, and what happened next will completely change how you see the boyhood of Jesus. We're going back about 2,000 years. Every year, Jewish families made a pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the Feast of Passover, one of the most important celebrations in the Jewish calendar. It was a sacred tradition, a holy journey, and for young Jesus and his family, this particular year was special. Because Jesus was 12 years old. Now in Jewish culture, 12 was a significant age. Boys were beginning to learn the depth of the Torah, preparing to take on their religious responsibilities. So this Passover, this journey to Jerusalem, it meant something. And Jesus knew it. After the week-long celebration, the festival came to a close. Mary, Joseph, and their group packed up, said their goodbyes, and began the long journey back home to Nazareth. The caravan was large, family, friends, neighbors, all traveling together for safety. People were chatting, catching up, walking in groups. It was the kind of crowd where you just assume everyone's accounted for. Mary probably thought Jesus was walking with Joseph. Joseph probably thought Jesus was walking with Mary. And the rest of the group? Well, they thought he was somewhere in the middle. 1 day passed. The caravan kept moving. Then, someone noticed. Where is Jesus? Can you imagine the moment that realization hit? Mary and Joseph, the two people entrusted by God himself to raise his son, had traveled an entire day without him. They searched the group. They asked around. No one had seen him. So they turned around. They went all the way back to Jerusalem, a full day's journey, and then spent 3 days searching the city. 3 days! Think about the worry, the prayers, the sleepless nights. Walking through markets, asking strangers, checking every corner of that city. 3 days. And then, they found him. Not lost. Not scared. Not sitting on a street corner wondering where his parents went. He was in the temple. Sitting among the teachers, the most learned religious scholars in all of Jerusalem, listening to them, asking them questions, and answering theirs. And everyone around him was astonished. These were men who had studied the scriptures their entire lives, and this 12-year-old boy was keeping up with every one of them. Luke 2 verse 47 tells us that all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. Now, Mary, bless her heart, does what any relieved and slightly frazzled mother would do. She said, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." And Jesus, calm as ever, responded, "Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" He wasn't being disrespectful. He wasn't dismissing them. He was pointing to something deeper, his identity, his purpose. Even at 12, Jesus knew whose he was and why he was here. But Luke also tells us something beautiful: they did not understand what he was saying to them. Even Mary, who had carried him, raised him, known from the beginning he was the Son of God, still had moments where she didn't fully grasp what all of this meant. And that's so honest. So human. Jesus went home with them after that. He was obedient to his parents. He grew in wisdom and stature, in favor with God and with people. But this moment, this one story from Jesus' childhood, gives us a rare and extraordinary glimpse. Long before the miracles, before the ministry, before the cross, there was a 12-year-old boy who felt most at home in his father's house, surrounded by the Word of God. He wasn't lost. He was exactly where he was supposed to be. And maybe that's a question worth sitting with today. Where are you most at home? And is it where God is calling you to be? This has been the story of the boy who stayed behind, and the God who was never really missing at all.